hours, Dave. You're working.
I feel. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yep. Here we go. All right. Let me. Who are we starting with?
Let's go, Dan. I want to see the Knicks in play.
All right.
3, 2, 1.
We're getting murdered out here.
All right. So the last time he played Knicks, he went super aggressive and got just absolutely tanked.
But again, we're not seeing any holds barred, are we? You just absolutely go straight in with the LG.
Yeah, exactly.
Over, Pinky on the heavy.
Well, he's just assuming, like, yeah, Pinky's not going to get the frag, so what do I got to worry about? I mean, it's a better start for him than it was with, what was it, Kama he did this with?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it was this matchup he played with Kama, so...
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. See, that double wall jump is just killing him. He should just be better off using machine gun.
Yourself.
I mean, he was basically unhittable there. Like, he had no way
Exactly.
to deal with that, so...
I mean, I find myself using the starting machine gun often. Once I, like, especially even with a double jumping Doom. If I just have rockets, I'm just like, fuck it. I'm just gonna use machine gun.
Well, eventually, if you can connect enough, it does do quite a lot of damage.
I mean, if I'm gonna die anyway, I'm like, yeah. I mean, that was a bit, I don't know why you would go to that part of the map. Just kind of dead either way, I guess, but super dead when you go down there with 9 health.
Yeah. And I think we're starting to see, I mean, you know, almost 2 minutes in, Dan 4 megas, 3 heavies, Pinky 1 heavy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know it doesn't sound like much, but
it's a lot, dude. I mean, that's probably gonna continue to be the trend for the rest of this map. So, and if you let Nyx have Ghost Walk and have both major items, you're gonna have a hard time.
Nope. That's what kind of brings the benefit of like the Nyx player if you can use it right, because if you're getting everything working for you, then you're also dodging damage with the invis. How are you ever killing this guy? You know, he's always just all over you, so...
Yep. I think Pinky is sort of, doesn't know what to do. The way he's moving around the map, there's no real... I mean, I don't know what to do, so I'm not making fun of him, but... Let's ask the professional. What's Pinky supposed to do here? I mean, he has to break the map control, he has to be annoying, but... What's that mean?
I mean... One of the biggest problems we have is that with Nyx and the maneuverability, like coming to and from items, the problem with Pinky is that he needs to kind of whittle the Nyx down so he at least has a chance of winning a battle. Then he needs to actually win an item and escape that item not taking very much damage, because otherwise, you know,
not like that,
it's just
basically.
too slow. I mean, but we just saw it then, you know, then and there too, right? The Ranger just jumps to Mega, just waits, and then he just gets pumped by the rocket. If you're Nyx there, you go into Mega, maybe you wall jump, maybe you dodge the rocket. There's a bit more flexibility, you know?
Yeah. Oof. I mean, this is a bit brutal.
I think it's as we predicted. We kind of expected that that phrase Dan matchup was probably going to be more of the the expected close match.
I mean,
we're not gonna shut out Pinky completely.
No. Pinky earned it. I mean, fuck, I would never get in this position. I mean, like I said, it's just like we have been brutal. We've been saying it's like you live in Australia. How do you get better? You have 2 choices. You ask to play Dan all the time, and Dan should be saying no because he's a professional player, and the last thing he wants to do is give people pre-practice, right?
Yeah.
Or you have to boot camp somewhere where there are players who are better than you. So it's hard for the Australian scene, but I give plenty of kudos that they have their own dedicated community where they are playing. I think that's already a huge step forward than what it was a couple of years ago where, oh yeah, you guys just don't exist now.
Well, a little bit of a tidbit. I don't know the exact statistics, but I remember hearing that like per capita, you know, per 1,000 people we've got playing Quake, Australians love Quake. We have like probably one of the most, you know, population 22 million something, and the amount of people we have compared to America, 350 million or whatever it is, and you know, and having similar player base in some sense is quite sizable.
It's a great game, man, and
You can be sure I'll end it.
should be more people playing it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, this jump sucks. I can never make the jump either. Don't feel bad, Dan. I can never do that. I mean, like, the game is a foregone conclusion. Sorry, guys in the chat, if you want us to talk about the game, but there's nothing to talk about.
We can still mention bits and pieces, but you know, it is a bit.
It's just.
Here.
This is like me playing against you, is what this looks like.
I mean, the thing is,
Pinkey's got a frag, and I wouldn't even have a frag.
we're kind of watching. Oh wow.
Jesus.
We're never going to win.
And this is similar to the Redoxide match. Redoxide. Okay, Pinkey with a kill.
Nice. Good job, buddy. Get the mech.
When we saw what the Redoxide went is that he got the items, but every time when it came to the fight, Dan just like with less stack and sometimes even worse position just killed him. And it's like you need to be able to you know, come head on with the other guy and still be able to kill him, not just using rail. If you use rail, that's kind of like a bit of a, you know, a scapegoat in some sense.
Hey man, these were some good rocket jumps to get out of, because that he would have died. That would have been a frag. Also, I have to say, Pinkey, I'm loving your 2017 Quake LG. That is the only weapon skin I don't have, and it pains me.
Yeah, that is kind of a bit. Need that exclusivity.
I know. Like, I don't even care about the Ruby Nix. I just want the fucking red LG.
Yeah.
Good rail right there. Good, another good rail. Come on.
Cool.
No, don't do it. Don't do it.
Gonna be another one.
Oh.
Maybe my kingdom's finally come.
Oh, man. What the fuck? Cool. Good. Nice.
Dan is just keeping him weak, and I think he does have, you know, good stack, but he doesn't have the weapons, and it's like you're trying to throw. I kind of find of an example. Look, he's just waiting. What does Pinkey do? Because he doesn't have the rail. He's getting just pushed around. Dan can come with the shotgun. Another kill. And even as something as simple as that, like how do you decipher as Pinkey? Okay, you don't have a rail. How do you break that? I mean, Dan just waited there, hit the rail, and then he had to go back. Like it wasn't.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What are you gonna
very
do?
Awkward. Yeah.
Let's see. It's also, I think these are good reps for Pinkey too. I mean, because he's on a stage, you're being casted, a couple hundred people are watching you. It definitely feels different. I know that. Like if I was playing an Unholy Trinity the other day, Pasita was in there, and some other semi-pros were in there, and I won the game. And for the last 10 seconds, I couldn't hit shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that was
like being casted by the best casters in the world is
exactly, yeah, especially you. No, being casted by arguably the best Australian Quake player.
Arguably.
Yeah.
Well, by statistics, Dan, what's your fucking name, Scott? You can't. Look, all I'm gonna say is I want my rematch, right? Give me my fucking give it back. Give it to me. Give it to me.
Well,
And
then you're gonna
we'll
have it, because it looks like Danny Boy is going to fucking QuakeCon, so...
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you're gonna play each other, though.
But this is the first map, right? So
Yeah.
Anything can happen on the second.
Of course, yeah, there's still time. Second map, you know. I mean, hey, there you go.
You lose.
All right,
Hey.
Dan, first map.
Pinkey brought it all the way to the end. I like it. You know, I think Pinkey knows like he's sort of outmatched here, but he's giving it a good go. He's not just laying down. He's not doing what Fecality does every time he hits Kilson in fucking ladder games. So appreciate it.
Yep. I mean, the last thing you want to do is just GG at 6 minutes, and I mean, if this is your opportunity to at least attempt
Yeah.
to do something, you just, you know, give it your
I
all.
mean, you gotta go for it, man. I mean,
It's experience.
Yep.
people do not understand. For like, it might be a joke when I say like, "Oh wow, I won a game in a Holy Trinity against Placida and some other semi-pros." That's on my level ridiculous.
Yeah.
So
Indeed, it's super ridiculous.
serious. Because anytime a QPL pro comes into an Unholy Trinity, it's just a murder show, man. It's not even close. But imagine how Pinkey feels on this stage right now, playing dandaking for a shot to go to QuakeCon. It's got to be like just adrenaline pumping.
What have we got here? Strong against Anarchy now. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's gonna be. I mean, Pinkey is on a worse stack, right? So.
Well,
Hope-
it's worse stack, but this is the trouble is like when you first pick the Anarchy, it's a bit like you got to be ready to kind of outposition, outmaneuver, outfight the other guy, and so far I feel like we can clearly see that Dan seems to be the better fighter here. So yeah.
Was it fucking Ruins? Ruins started? Yeah, okay. I don't know why I thought it was CK. Yeah, because if it was CK, it'd be super over.
Yeah.
Who was the last person that played Anarchy on Ruins?
Who was the last person?
Prepare to fight.
Is this a meta pick? Am I just having a brain fart?
Well, it's definitely a very strong pick on Ruins.
I'll start on Pinkey, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's the Mega Health spawn. Suppose mission to get some armor.
I mean, at least he's like this by Dan already is holding an angle for dying the weapons. Doesn't quite hit it, but right decision.
Yeah, interesting. Pinkey not going to the LG right away, thinking that dandaking was still around. That's a tasty heavy. Megal's gone.
And nice awareness by Dan to kind of pick up that Pinkey was potentially just creeping there. I guess you could also hear him as well.
Yeah,
But
good
now,
frag.
wow, no rails connecting there. Very unfortunate. Pinkey will get the mega.
Yeah, heavy goes to dandaking.
And Ruins is quite the interesting map. I mean, both players do have a bit of speed, so they kind of have some element of catching up, but it's going to be the case of Pinkey kind of whittling down Dan and, you know, making a play over the items, but at the moment, Dan's the one who's kind of pushing Pinkey around. Both players will get a major item. And like what Dan does, goes back to top mid position, you know, where else does he need to be? Just can kind of see everything on the map, especially on a map like Ruins. And I would like to see him be a bit more aggressive, trying to find Pinkey a bit, but Pinkey's going to actually run into him.
Yeah.
There you go.
Again, super clean frag. Like it's just the positioning on the top. Like just put your air to the ground, and Pinkey is just making a lot of noise everywhere. Oh, he does get the opening damage, but then walks into 2 rockets.
Pitiful creature.
That's the nice thing and the annoying thing about Quake is that even in situations like that, they probably think, yeah, Dan dead to rights there, but Dan with the clutch rail at the end barely gets the kill there.
Stopwatch.
Oh, not going to work out for him this time.
From the grave.
Oh, he enjoyed that one.
But I think we're starting to see a little bit about, like, even Pinkey off spawn there, right? It's kind of identifying what do you do when you have absolutely nothing. And here, in a second, looks like another kill for Dan. And, you know, when you're playing against a player who's kind of better than you, who's got more experience, you got to say to yourself, how do you at least, you know, how can you just put up a fight? But a lot of the time what we're seeing is just Dan kind of runs over, you know, runs them over, and then they just can't. Like, first step is just defend yourself. Sounds quite basic, but a lot of the time we're seeing that Dan's just running through them and they're just not putting up a fight. They're just gonna get hit in the back, and that's kind of the game, you know. So.
Yeah, sometimes you also notice that then a player just completely freezes and stops to play his own games. But I think you need to still force yourself to make a decision, so you can learn from it. Like if you just go with what your opponent is doing, you really can't create your own game plan.
Yeah.
You need to experience to get better.
I think you said it perfectly. It's like the last thing you want to do is freeze. I mean, even if you make a decision, it's the wrong decision. Just make a decision. You know what I mean? I think you said it quite well. And Pinkey with the flyby shotgun.
Nice.
Actually gonna come in with a kill and a bit of a teabag.
Nice.
I like that by Pinkey. He may not win the set, but he did have Anarchy's crotch in Dan's face there just a little bit.
Which is also important.
5-minute warning.
But I think Dan was potentially railable. No, he wasn't railable there.
And he pushes Pinkey out of this mega health, what is not there at this moment. Pinkey also a bit confused, like, huh? Am I allowed to take this one? And the heavy is just being left alone for quite a while. Oh, and then he gets it, and whoa, he doesn't do the ledge grab. But Pinkey also does not have the LG, so no punishment on that move.
Yep. Looks like Pinkey is kind of keeping himself alive, but again, I mean, 7 frag difference. Just under, well, just over 3.5 minutes still left to go. We'll push in with the rockets. Huge rockets by Pinkey. Defends himself with the rail. Dan doing his best, and surely, okay, Pinkey does manage to clean that one up. But even then, still so low. Dan should be able to just come in here. Pinkey having to escape away, but Dan's clued on.
Oh, are we going to see a reverse sweep?
I was gonna say, if he hit that rail, most definitely not, but he will stay alive. Yeah, I think a part of the problem for Pinkey here, and I didn't mean to pick on him, I'm just trying to like kind of clarify a bit about what's happening. How can I say? It's like, especially in these moments, how do you string together enough momentum, enough damage, enough kills to actually, you know, actually have a chance of winning the map? Because what we're seeing here is, you know, Pinkey's doing things, but he's not stringing those moments together, and that's kind of what Quake is all about. It's like, you know, you do something, but then you do it's a whole picture. But if you just do a nice attack and then you kind of hang around for a bit, or you don't do the next thing immediately, well, that's why we're seeing this. Dan spawns, he picks up the rail, hits him, and now he's got control again. You know, it's putting it all together. That's what makes the cohesive kind of picture. So, but now 2 minutes left. Nice rail by Pinkey. Does have him trapped. Okay, Pinkey will get another kill. Dan gets the spawn. And now this is what we're talking about. I mean, not much he could do there. But now Dan's is already back in killing potential. He was off spawn, you know, and now here we are again.
Yeah, and it was also the damage he did before dying. That I think he could not really challenge this heavy position.
Nice rockets by Dan, and that'll definitely be the nail in the coffin, I think. So, whoa, nice rocket by Dan. That was a sick air rocket. We'll have to get Dan in here for an interview if you're keen for that.
I don't know if he is in my Discord, but we are
Warning. Impressive.
doing the Quachi.
Oh yeah, we'll move over there.
So if I may ask,
Yes.
other than what we talked about earlier, if a person from Australia really wants to improve, what are their options?
Well, I think you got to be a bit of a scientist, in the sense like you got to be able to, if you really want to, you have to be able to find a way to, like, be able to extract information from VODs. I mean, that's essentially the only way you can kind of increase your leverage. But the thing is, you need that extra element of the, you know, it's like driving the car. You know, you're reading about how to drive a car, but you need to actually get the experience, the physical experience, get your brain to start training. And unfortunately, without, you know, you do have to go to where the heat is. You know, you got to get to the hard matches, and that's where you learn. So, yeah, Dan gonna take it, and Dan's to QuakeCon. Congratulations.
Yeah, that's actually also like the interview with APAC and dandaking. That dandaking mostly said like, yeah, I just watched a lot of VODs.
Do you think that you can create those, like what Zeneku talks, those connections through VODs, or do you have to play the game?
I think that, like, as you can see, it is possible through VODs. However, we find something really interesting that I find with Dan, which is that he ends up doing things which is like, which you could say is just like maybe not the meta. Like, for example, like picking Visor first on Awoken when the guy picks when Phrase picked Ranger, right? That's something that we don't generally see, and that's where that experience of being like, well, this is why people don't pick those type of things. And sometimes it does work, and oftentimes, you know, you can kind of create small advantages there, but that's where, you know, you can kind of be a bit of a detriment, because you need that extra little, it definitely helps having that extra bit of references where you can kind of piece it all together. Just 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, we'll get, have you got the Kawachi Discord, Scott?
I don't know.